The Rip City Drive.
And Chris Haynes is back on the Rip City Drive. Chris, it's great to have you back on the show. But first things first, before we get to basketball, how are things going at Charlene's Beauty Supply down in Oak Grove, California?
Appreciate the plug, Chad. I'm actually in the car right outside the store right now, just kind of keeping an eye on her. But no, she's doing a great job. We're a month in. The Sacramento Bee newspaper came a couple of days ago and interviewed her and took photos and video of the store. So we'll have a story in the Sacramento Bee sometime later this week. So we're business is picking up and it's going good. We've got so much support, and I encourage anybody out there in the Pacific Northwest, if they're ever in the Sacramento area, please stop by. And I would love, if it's this summer, I would love to check y'all out, take pictures, and talk some hoops if you're out here. So thanks, Chad.
Well, you know what I think is great about this, Chris, is that how cool is it to be able to put something together with your wife, a business, and then see her take it over and have such a great time and joy running that thing? That's got to be pretty cool.
Nah, it's cool, and I'm excited for her to be able to pursue her passion. I've been traveling, and I've been in this, covering the league for 13 years now, and I've always been on the road, and she's had to handle everything at the house with the kids and everything. So this is her first time being able to break free and do something that she wanted to do on a personal level. So I'm happy I'm able to support her in that progress, and it's just cool, man. I love seeing her in this element. So looking forward to seeing what she does with it.
Are you saying, though, that you'd be hanging around the store in case somebody comes by, you might take a selfie or sign something for them or something like that? Are you kind of there all the time? Huh?
I'm not big time like that, Godfather. I'm kind of in between what I want to do. I was supposed to actually leave about 30 minutes ago and go to the house, but I remember when she told me to go home today. She told me to clean the living room and the bathroom. So I'm trying to stall or avoid it altogether.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Well, Chris, let's start with this. Thursday night is the draft. As you know, the Portland Trailblazers have the number 3 pick. What would you say is the % chance that Portland trades that number 3 pick?
It doesn't sound like it right now. It doesn't sound like, a lot can happen for, 48 hours until the draft. But it sounds like that number 3 pick, it sounds like they're going to keep that and draft, either Miller or Scoot. So a lot can change, but the intel that I've been gathering up to this point leads me to believe I think Portland might draft a player at 3.
Okay, let's say they take Scoot. He's the guy left for them to take. What does that do with Damian Lillard in Portland?
I think Dame will have a decision to make. Obviously, Dame doesn't want to go through a rebuild. He would rather they use all their assets, the valuable assets that is, to try to acquire proven talent. He wants to win. He wants to win now. So, that's a decision Dame will have to make if it got to that point. If it got to a point where they took a player and had the intention of keeping the player. So that's the decision Dame will have to make.
From what I understand, Chris, that Scoot is strictly a point guard. He's not like CJ or Ant in that he could move over and play the off guard. Would that be, a further complication for Dame staying?
I don't know. I think, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like, with New Orleans, Scoot would like to be in New Orleans. New Orleans would like to have him as well. So you can't rule out what New Orleans is trying to do and trying to climb up in the drafts and be able to take him. So, to answer your question about Scoot and Dame, I know Scoot likes Dame. He's referenced Dame in previous interviews, but it's a really tough question because I can't look at, I don't have a crystal ball to be able to say what's going to happen, but all I know is based off of what Damon said is that he wants to win now, and the most valuable chip the Portland Trailblazers have is that number 3 pick. and we know Anthony Simons is available for the right deal. And you would think if there was a deal out there, it would be that pick with Simons. So you have to. I think we just got to wait to see how this thing plays out here. And Portland, they've done a good job of pretty much keeping things pretty close to the vest, pertaining to who they're talking to and all that. But there'll be big decisions to be had by the Blazers and by Dame.
Chris, do you think New Orleans would make Zion available in a trade like that?
Yes, I do. Zion is available for the right deal.
That sounds like a deal to me. Does it sound like a good deal to you? The 2 for Zion? I mean, the 3 for Zion?
Yeah, the 3 for Zion. I would be definitely intrigued by that. I think one thing that any team that's interested in Zion, one thing that they would want to look at is his medical. We know how he's been having a weight issue ever since he stepped into the league. But I think what teams want to get their hands on, if they really are serious, is the medical. Like, is there anything that's really going to cause further problems, going down the road? Because that's really going to dictate how feasible it is to trade for him. And so that's going to be a dilemma right there. Waiting to see if we get to that point, waiting to see what that medical shows.
Hey, Chris, Dame has mentioned players before like Bam or Mikal, guys he would like to play with. Would you say that Zion would fit that mold of players that Dame would enjoy playing with if he had the opportunity?
I think so. If Zion is in the right frame of mind, if he's ready to kind of rebuild his reputation in the league, if he's ready to get in tip-top shape and stay in tip-top shape, I would definitely believe that that will have the intrigue of Dame. So we just don't know. We just don't know what mindset Zion is in. You don't know how he feels about Portland, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But from a talent standpoint, you would be. You wouldn't be doing your job if you do your due diligence and look into that, because when he's healthy and he's playing, he's dominant. And I would think a player like that would definitely have the interest of Dame.
Chris, it's when you talk about Zion, it reminds me of the first time I saw him in person. I was sitting in the Thomas and Mack Center at Las Vegas Summer League with you, and New Orleans came out to warm up, and we saw Zion there in the Summer League, and you turned to me and said, that uniform is stretched all over the front of him. They got to get a uniform to fit this guy. That doesn't fit. Remember that?
All right, listen, Godfather. Listen, you can't be bringing up my past of fat shaming, man. This is a different era we're in, Godfather. You gotta be sensitive, man.
Well, I know it. But I can say it because I got the same problem. So I'm allowed to say it. It's like, what the heck? I mean, you can make Fresno jokes because you're from Fresno. I can't do that. So.
Yeah, that was my first time seeing him in person, and his size definitely stuck out.
So to speak.
Again, you gotta stop, God.
I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
Don't let him do that, Haynes. Don't let him treat you that way, man.
You gotta stop it, man.
You can't. I can't help it. You're leading me right into these things.
Godfather, man. The times we're in, Godfather. Look, I think again, if he can commit, to a regimen of physical fitness, and say he did team up with Dame, man. Dame was, somebody that would be in his corner, holding him accountable, being there with him every step of the way. I personally like it. I personally would like it, but again, it depends on his willingness to be in Portland, but also depends on the medical. What is the medical show? Is there any degenerate knee situations? Anything that's going to be a red flag that's going to cause problems in, a few years down the road. Those are all things that the medical will show. So, if any team is serious, that's something they'll have to look into.
Hey, Chris, I'm wondering what you think about Joe Cronin with his messaging. From day one when he took over the general manager position, he's always had the same messaging in regards to our job, and our focus is to accrue assets to put ourselves in a position to build a winner around Dame. And they even put out that little release to the season ticket holders on lottery night that they got the number 3 pick and they were focused with their basketball team to go out and build a winner around Dame. If they take a player, what do you think is a result of that change in direction? Was it vaulting into the top 3 that was unexpected that kind of changed their thinking there? What's your take on that?
Yeah, getting into that top 3, I think that's probably what changed it right there. They had a good run. They had a good boost, pretty good boost right there. So yeah, that without having talked to Joe in a minute, that would lead me to believe that I think them coming away with that pick kind of changed course a little bit.
Chris, we all know that Zion spent a lot of last summer in the Portland area rehabbing. And do you have any idea what he thought of the city and this area while he was here?
I don't, Godfather. I really don't have a relationship with Zion. We've spoken on a few occasions.
Uh-huh.
Just with doing the work that I do with TNT. But no, I don't know. But yeah, I know he spent time trying to get himself in shape in Portland. But I don't, and I don't know that Dame has talked to him either about that. So yeah, I wouldn't know.
Do you think the Blazers are considering that right now, Zion?
I don't know if that. Well, listen, I don't know for sure if there's been an offer made yet. Considering it, they definitely have to have talked about it for sure.
Well, then, you mentioned, I asked you to begin the interview in regards to what you think they'll do, and you think they're going to keep a player. I was wondering if some of that coming out might be smokescreen because they're trying to drive up the price, maybe to get a better deal that hasn't been offered yet for that number 3 pick.
And that's why I said that things can definitely change in the next 48 hours. Tomorrow will be 48 hours to the draft. It can change. But based off of the intel I'm receiving right now, smokescreen or not, it sounds like they are keeping that pick. But that can change. They can be definitely trying to drive up the market and get some teams desperate to throw in a little bit extra. So, we'll see on that front, but it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough because Scoot, a lot of people believe that he's probably the most ready rookie in this class right now, being that he played against grown men in the G League this past season, and they think he's going to be a talent, man. You look at, he's a physical specimen, man. Like his body is NBA ready right now. And I think he's going to be the future somewhere. And, another thing is, I think he falls to number 3 because, he's a point guard. He wants to play point guard. He wants to be a franchise point guard in this league. And Charlotte has LaMelo at that spot already. And so, and I know Charlotte trying to say that they're still kind of wavering back and forth. I don't know that I believe that right now. I do think it's a very good shot that Scoot goes number 3.
Are you tired of all this stuff before the draft, Chris? It seems like this whole issue of Dame and who the Blazers might pick, every day something new comes out where somebody says they got some inside information about this. You must be sick of this because I know when I was working at the Oregonian and even NBC, you have to chase all these rumors down. Every time somebody says something, the boss wants you to go, well, is this true? How come we didn't have this? Is this true? You must be really sick of this stuff.
Yeah, again, yes and no. But, Godfather, a lot of times when these rumors surface publicly, a lot of the times we know it already. Like, we've known it already. And, we don't report it for various reasons. Maybe we're saving it for something. Maybe we're trying to get something bigger. Or maybe we just like, hey, there's something I can just keep to myself right now, wait for other parts of the storyline to develop. And, maybe we're waiting for something else. And so a lot of these rumors, to be honest with you, I pretty much have heard already. I got them in my notes. And then sometimes there are some rumors that pop out and you're like, damn, I didn't know that. Then you start going, looking and seeing what it's about. But God, I don't know that I get tired. Dame's whole situation is that there's always, for the last 4 years, it seems like, maybe even longer, people have tried to say Dame could get out and what's Dame's future, or they just keep asking him about how do you feel about Portland, and he keeps saying the same thing over and over. But you get the feel this time around that it can be a real possibility of parting of ways, potentially. So I don't know. It all depends on how the Blazers handle the draft and what Dame ultimately feels about the draft. Does he feel like the rookie that they bring in is going to help them from day one? Because that's what Dame wants. He wants help from day one. And so, but I can't say I'm tired, because Godfather, I'm just being honest with you. This is where I make my money. This is money making time.
Yeah, well, that Brinks truck stops by your house frequently. I know that. So.
Yeah, it's empty. It's empty when the truck is there. But it's empty.
We're talking with Chris Haynes from TNT here on the Rip City Drive. If there were a parting of ways, is there any of these rumored trades involving Dame that makes sense to you right now?
If there were a parting of ways, I mean, you have to. I reported it a few days ago about Miami's interest. They're monitoring this Portland situation very closely. And so you got Miami right there, front and center. You got the Brooklyn Nets. Those are the teams as of right now that I can really see making a legitimate pitch once if it got to that point. But again, there are a multitude of different scenarios have to play out within that time before we even got to that point.
Chris, I'm curious. We talked about Zion already, and that obviously is a real win for the Blazers if they were to get him. Can you give me some names on other players in the league that might satisfy what Dame's looking for? A veteran player that would get them a little deeper into the playoffs. Who do you hear? Who do you see that might fulfill that requirement?
The Blazers have been rumored, with Pascal, OG over there in Toronto as well. They've been rumored with who else I've heard them with. I'm trying to think who else. Really just some quality wing players. Wing. Depth. Who else? Is somebody else I'm missing?
Mikal?
Mikal Bridges, of course. I don't see Brooklyn letting him go. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. So those are kind of guys right there that you were kind of hearing. But Sacramento is on the chase for those two guys in Toronto as well. So it'd be see how this all plays out. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think Phoenix is going to trade Ayton to be able to add some depth, which is something they lacked during the playoffs?
I think they are looking into that for sure. I think they're looking into that. I know they've talked with Boston. I don't know if they can get anything done there. But yes, they're looking into that.
So, is it okay with you if we go ahead and report that you said tonight that the Blazers are going to trade the number 3 pick for Zion? Is that all right with you?
Say that one more time, Godfather.
Is it okay with you if we report that you said on our show that Portland was going to trade the number 3 pick for Zion? Real simple. I mean, I'm just asking if it's all right.
All right, that would be the definition of misinformation right there.
Well, it is sports talk radio, Chris. I mean, let's be honest about that, right?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to draw me in. I understand.
All right. He is an NBA insider for TNT and Bleacher Report, and also a proud owner of Charlene's Beauty Supply down in Oak Grove, California. Chris Haynes here on the Rip City Drive. Hey, Chris, that was really awesome, man. Thanks for your time. And Dwight and I wish you the best as you get ready for draft night on Thursday.
I appreciate you two brothers, man. Y'all take care.